Welcome back, everyone. Today we are diving deep into one of the most powerful and important novels ever written in the English language, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This book was published in 1960, and just 1 year later, it won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It has sold over 40 million copies worldwide, and is still taught in schools across the globe. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this book matters so deeply. Not just as a story, but as a mirror held up to society itself. So let's start from the very beginning. The story is set in the fictional small town of Maycomb, Alabama, during the early 1930s, a time when America was deep in the Great Depression. Racial segregation was the law of the land, and justice was anything but equal. The story is narrated by a young girl named Jean Louise Finch, but everyone calls her Scout. She is just 6 years old when the novel opens, and 9 years old by the time it ends. Scout lives with her older brother Jeremy, nicknamed Jem, their widowed father Atticus Finch, and their black housekeeper Calpurnia. Now, Atticus Finch is one of the most important characters in all of American literature. He is a lawyer, a quiet, wise, deeply principled man who believes every single human being deserves dignity and a fair chance. Think of him as the moral backbone of this entire story. If Atticus says something, you can be sure it matters. Every summer, the Finch children are joined by their friend Dill Harris, a boy who visits his aunt next door, and together, the three children become obsessed with the mysterious figure of Boo Radley, a reclusive man who never leaves his house. American literature. Nobody in Maycomb has seen Boo in years, and naturally, the children's imaginations run wild. They dare each other to touch the Radley house. They create dramatic plays about Boo's supposedly terrifying life. In the eyes of the children, Boo is practically a ghost, a monster hiding in the shadows. But here is where the story already begins teaching us something beautiful. The children fear Boo because they do not know him. They have filled in the blanks with rumors and fantasy. And this is exactly what Harper Lee wants you to notice, because the same thing is happening all around them in Maycomb, with race, with class, with everything. People fear and hate what they do not understand. That is the foundation of this entire novel. Now, as the first part of the story unfolds, there are smaller but deeply meaningful moments. For example, when Scout and Jem's neighbor, Mrs. Dubose, verbally harasses the children about their father's work defending a black man, Jem retaliates by destroying her garden. As punishment, he is required to read to Mrs. Dubose every day for a month. Later, Atticus reveals that she was battling a morphine addiction and was determined to overcome it before she died, and the reading sessions were her distraction. This teaches Jem and the reader that bravery is not just physical courage. Sometimes, bravery is fighting your own battles quietly, with dignity, at a great personal cost. Then comes the central conflict, the event that changes everything. Atticus is appointed to defend Tom Robinson, a black man falsely accused of raping Mayella Ewell, a white woman. In Maycomb, in the 1930s, this is not just a court case, it is a social earthquake. The entire town turns against Atticus for daring to take this case seriously. People call him names, children taunt Scout at school, even some family members disapprove. But Atticus does not waver. He tells his children that a man who does not stand up for what is right when it is hard is not truly courageous at all. At the trial, it becomes clear that Tom Robinson did not rape Mayella. In fact, Mayella had tried to kiss Tom, something that was deeply taboo and forbidden in that era. Her father, Bob Ewell, witnessed it, beat Mayella, and then threatened to kill Tom to cover up the truth. Atticus presents compelling evidence of Tom's innocence, including proof that Tom's left arm was crippled and could not have inflicted the injuries Mayella sustained. Despite this, the all-white jury convicts him. The evidence is clear. The logic is undeniable. And yet, Tom Robinson is found guilty, not because of facts, but because of the color of his skin. This is the devastating heart of the novel. Harper Lee is showing us that in a deeply racist society, truth itself is not enough. The real-life inspiration behind this was the Scottsboro trials of 1931, in which 9 black teenage boys were falsely accused of rape by 2 white women. Despite one of the women later changing her testimony, 5 of the 9 were convicted, a chilling parallel to Tom Robinson's fate. Tom Robinson is later shot dead while trying to escape from prison, and just like that, an innocent man is gone, destroyed not by any crime he committed, but by a system that refused to see him as fully human. This is where the title of the book becomes so powerful. Early in the novel, Atticus tells his children that it is a sin to kill a mockingbird. A mockingbird does nothing but make beautiful music for the world. It harms no one. Tom Robinson and Boo Radley are the novel's 2 mockingbirds, innocent beings destroyed or threatened by the cruelty and fear of those around them. To kill a mockingbird, then, is to destroy something pure and harmless simply because you can, and that is exactly what Maycomb does to Tom Robinson. Now the story reaches its final, dramatic turn. After the trial, Bob Ewell, humiliated and furious that Atticus exposed him in court, vows revenge. One night, as Scout and Jem are walking home from the school Halloween pageant, Bob Ewell attacks them in the dark. Jem suffers a broken arm, but someone steps in to save them. Bob Ewell ends up stabbed and dies in the struggle. When Scout and Jem finally make it home, they see the man who rescued them standing quietly in the corner of the room. It is Boo Radley, the man they had feared for years, the supposed monster of their childhood nightmares. He had been watching over them all along, leaving small gifts in the knothole of a tree, placing a blanket on Scout's shoulders during a cold night, and ultimately risking everything to save their lives. Scout's growth throughout the novel is guided by Atticus's most famous instruction, that you never truly understand a person until you consider things from their point of view, until you climb into their skin and walk around in it. And this lesson is vindicated in her final understanding of Boo Radley. At the end of the story, Scout walks Boo home, stands on his porch, and sees the entire neighborhood through his eyes for the first time. She finally understands what it means to truly see another person. So what are the big lessons this book leaves us with? First, it teaches us about the courage to do what is right, even when the entire world tells you not to. Atticus knew he would not win that case. He knew the jury would convict Tom regardless of the evidence. But he stood up and fought anyway, because a man's life and dignity demanded it. That kind of moral courage is rare, and it is something worth aspiring to. Second, it teaches us about empathy. Those who lack empathy in this novel, like Bob Ewell, are shown to be the true villains, while compassionate figures like Atticus and Boo Radley are celebrated. Real understanding of another human being requires you to step outside your own comfortable assumptions and truly imagine their world. Third, it teaches us about the loss of innocence. Scout and Jem begin the novel believing Maycomb is a fundamentally good and fair place. The trial shatters that belief. Jem in particular is devastated by the verdict, struggling to reconcile what he knows to be true with what the jury decided. Growing up means learning that the world is not always fair, but it does not mean accepting injustice as permanent. To this day, the novel is celebrated for its timeless relevance. It was adapted into a beloved 1962 film starring Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch, which won 3 Academy Awards, and in 2018 it was turned into a stage production adapted by Aaron Sorkin. Spark Notes. Over 6 decades after it was written, the questions it raises about who deserves justice, who gets protected, and what real courage looks like are as urgent as ever. To Kill a Mockingbird is not just a book about 1930s Alabama. It is a book about every era, every society, every moment in which an innocent person is judged not by who they are, but by what they look like, or where they come from. It is a book that asks each one of us, when the moment comes, will you be Atticus Finch, or will you be the jury that convicts a man you know is innocent? That question, my friends, never goes out of style. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me which part of this story hit you the hardest.